I had quite a negative self-esteem when I was growing up. A lot of the stuff that we perceive about ourselves has been put on us for good or bad. It comes from our life experience. It comes from our thoughts. In fact, our identity is nothing but a story we tell ourselves about who we are. And actually, not much that we think about ourselves is true. Sometimes it's easy to forget that we play a big part in creating that story, and it can become something that traps us. The cloth from which we weave our identity is woven from a number of different strands. The culture we're born into molds us more than we could possibly know. Every culture contains codes that tell us who we are and what we can do as a result. And they're only codes, but we operate within them as though they're facts and no other alternatives are available to us. I mean, years ago, if you were a girl, you were considered weak. You can't do certain things, and that's programmed into our brain. Also, our identity is formed by how other people view us. And again, that's an illusion. If you asked all of your friends and family to describe you, they're likely to have many different views of you. If you asked a current lover what they thought of you, and then someone else asked an ex-lover what they thought of you, they'd both have very different opinions. When in fact, guess what? Neither of it is true. Science has shown us that each thought that we have sparks up a neural pathway in our brain. And the more often we think that thought, the more pathways become ingrained in our brain. So little roads of thoughts become motorways as we speed down the familiar destination of what we're thinking. So each time you think, oh, I'm crap, or I'm lazy, or, any thought like that, the more you think it, the firmer your brain believes it, so that it becomes an automatic thought. As a result, the more we think something, the more difficult it is to think in any other way. And that goes for lots of things. It becomes easy to forget that we created that path in our mind, and that also, most importantly, we have the power to change our thoughts. So what would happen if we start to think of ourselves differently? If we start to embrace different qualities, we can actually reinvent ourselves. The reality is that we are creating ourselves every single minute of the day. If you aren't sure that this is true, remember how much your identity has changed since you were born and all the different stages of your life. Are you the same person you were 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago? This is the truth. We are constantly evolving. And when you know that, when you know your identity can change and that you can change it, it no longer becomes something that's set in stone and can trap you. In addition, our brains regenerate. Back in the day, it was thought that our brain cells, whatever we thought, was stored there and that was it. It never went any further. But research has now proved that wrong. We have a brain that can change. We can change our ideas. Literally, we have the ability and the power to recreate ourselves and our thoughts. And I mean, it's cosmic, isn't it? Can you imagine that you can actually shift some of the thoughts you have about yourself, and that you don't have to be any of the negative things that you think that you are. You are free to recreate and to allow not only your mind but your spirit to evolve. And the more we allow ourselves to become who we are, the more that you're committed to being your unique soul, following your unique ideas, following the things that aren't put upon you but that you've worked out for yourself, the freer that you are. So how do you see yourself? Look at the positive and negative. Are you seeing yourself clearly? Try imagining you as the person you'd most like to be. What would it take for you to be the person you'd most like to be? How far away is that from the you that you see yourself being today? Also, another important point is avoid casting other people in your life in roles they can't get out of, or seeing them as having static personality traits, good, bad, generous type, all that jazz, as this can stop you moving forward and evolving the relationship with them. It's amazing. Everybody can change if they want to change. No one is those static things. We are choosing those things. If people say, oh, I'm really stubborn, that's actually a choice. That isn't cast in stone. Once we start to think that we are not those things, We are free from the chains and restrictions that we put upon ourselves that we see as our personality. I mean, the good news is that ultimately we have the freedom to transform from our own self-imposed prisons. And when we do that, we release our creativity and potential and step into a new zone of energy and power. When we know that we are constantly changing each moment, then we can choose in each moment who we want to be. So who do you want to be? And what are you going to think today to help you transform that? Then we're really free to choose an identity that empowers us. We don't need to believe other people's perceptions of us. We are the magicians and have a choice about who we are and who we become. Think about that for a moment. Who do you want to be? How are you going to achieve it? What thoughts are you going to change that will create your reality? And that really does dovetail into the law of attraction, because what we believe, to a certain extent, we create. And that's not just some kind of new age mumbo jumbo. We are giving off energy all the time. We are energy. If we think only bad things are going to happen, life is full of crap, no one is to be trusted, we act like a magnet to draw those experiences to us. Wake up each morning and go, who am I going to be today? What is the best reflection of myself? How can I express my unique soul? Decontaminate yourself of any negative thoughts about your personality or your being. And also, of course, decontaminate yourself from anyone else's negative perceptions. When you walk out there into the world, expressing who you truly are, believing that you deserve a fabulous destiny, you draw it towards you like a magnet. I believe in you as I believed in myself. You really can do it. We are all such an exciting work in progress. Let's take charge of who we want to be. Each day, wake up and know the wonder of you. Challenge any negative thoughts. Know that your uniqueness is your gift. You are transforming. You are evolving. You are capable of drawing to you the destiny of your dreams. Rock your unique soul. There will never be another you. There is only one of you, and your unique energy helps transform and evolve the whole. Honor yourself as the rare and beautiful being that you are.